eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OCC Scrim's Gold Division Titans versus Void. Is an exciting match tonight on Map Pack A, all of our favorite map pack. So, we have a pretty interesting matchup. I'm joined by Cal. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing? Let's see.
I am doing all right. So, like I said, pretty interesting matchup, but who do we need to be watching for today's match?
As always, on Void's got some super heavy hitters. They're on a roll lately. That's because of their Pika play with their Reinhardt, Genji, and then Wright coming in with his Sombra is super important. Their main tanks have been doing a great job, along with Helix the Cat. He usually plays a healer, I believe. He does a great job with that. So Void's on a hot streak for a good reason. Titan's going to need to bring their A game to beat them.
I am noticing that Rith is not in the initial lineup, though, so maybe Void is actually thinking about running something besides Sombra Goats, which seems to be pretty much just what they do for the most part. I'm also noticing a little bit of conspiracy theory going on here, but Helix the Cat does have the Baptiste player icon. So I want to see some Baptiste play coming out from them. And on the other side, I always like to watch Hot Pockets and House of Homie. Always really great plays coming out of those two.
Absolutely. And last time these two teams met, it was a super close game. Void did come out on top, I believe, with a 4-0 victory. But however, every match was just super tight. Lots of overtimes that match. So hopefully we'll see another couple games like that.
And like I said, definitely we had so many close overtimes, so many close fights, and that is what we love to see. We always like to see lots of competition between the two teams so that it is anybody's game. So who knows, we may even be going to a map 5. Our first map is going to be Nepal control map. So from what we know about these two teams, who do you think is going to be getting the advantage on the control point?
Well, it's interesting because May works very well on a lot of different places on Nepal. So Pika I know, is a very solid May player. He might be able to pull that out. A lot of these players like Teddy Jackson and Vale4, I haven't seen play a lot on Void. Tribalize and Riths are the more common players that I'm used to, but they're out this game. So I'm excited to see what Void comes out with. Maybe something I haven't seen before, surprise me even, which is always fun as a commentator because I get to figure out new analyst things.
Get to break it down and figure out everything that is going on. And so like I was mentioning, it seems like Void usually just runs Sombra Goats. You have, Rith go into the back line, slowly charges up EMP. EMP goes off, big hammer down, walk through the enemy team. And that is usually just over and over what happens whenever Void plays. But since Rith is not playing this time around, or Ryth rather is not playing this time around, is they're going to be running something else. If they're going to be running a Sombra, then they're going to have their Sombra player in there. So I'm interested to see what exactly they decide to do.
Yeah, the Sombra player, the main Sombra player, obviously is not in, so I do not see them running the Sombra. However, the meta is in a very interesting place right now. Goats is still around, especially dive Goats with the Winston D.Va. Now a little more mobile Goats is around. Though with the introduction of Baptiste and people are figuring out how good Baptiste and Bastion are together, so they're actually joining the meta in a few games to see if maybe we get some of that in with Baptiste's defense matrix or Infinity Field, what I call it. Pretty much no one dies inside there. So if you set up a Bastion in the right spot inside of that Infinity Field, he's not dying. He's taking out the entire enemy team.
Absolutely. And one thing that is sort of coming out in this meta finally is more map specific strats instead of just, oh, you run goats or you run dive like it has been before. It is more a little bit like the beginning of last year where this strategy is good on this map. And when you're playing this map, this is what you run on defense. This is what you run on attack. And there's oftentimes a lot more when the meta is like that. There's a lot more room for experimentation because you're trying to figure out what the best strat is for this particular map, this particular environment. It could have a spot that's really good for Bastion to be and things like that. So this is really where we like to see the meta. like I said, Goats is still around. Goats is still a thing, but frankly, it shouldn't ever be completely gone. It's a valid strategy, and it just shouldn't be for every single map.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's actually a pretty interesting interview with Jeff Kaplan who mentioned that that's actually the kind of way they expected Overwatch to be played. This maining characters is not something they anticipated as much as it is. People
Mic
really
on,
want trick a
mic
single
off.
character and play them every map. They kind of
That's right,
expect
guys.
people to move around their characters and switch around according to enemy teams and when they use their alts. And that just didn't happen the way that the team anticipated. So now they have to adjust for it. Though I think they're doing a good job. The game is definitely heading in the right direction in my eyes. A little more fun than it was 2 months ago right now. So hopefully it continues in that trend.
That's right, guys. You heard it from us and Daddy Jeff. Don't one trick. You're just boring.
You're just boring. Here we go. First map in Nepal. We are going to be on the village, it looks like. So a great map for, like I said, Mei or Symmetra. If you can get Symmetra onto that point line away and get her turret set up, because she can set them up on the ceiling, on the floor, on the sides of the walls, really all over the place. So the enemy team has to look around and kill the turrets before they start team fighting. Gives the Symmetra team a big advantage there. So we'll see what they come out with.
And yeah, the Symmetra is obviously a pretty interesting pick that can happen here. And we do also see a few other things. Reaper does pop up a few times onto this point, since it is pretty close quarters, and you just play onto the point, make sure you don't really move off of it. And of course, the Baptiste can be played here pretty well, thanks to many of the narrow checkpoints, which allow for the amplification matrix to be used. And looking preliminarily at these teams, we got a pretty interesting lineup.
Yeah, we'll see if they stick with it. Obviously, I'll list it out in about 5 seconds here to see if they stick with it. But it looks like right now, Void is going to be running the Baptiste, with Helix the Cat is going to stick on the Baptiste in the beginning. Yep, Sozin on the D.Va, Pika on the Lucio, and Abstract on the Zen. So they're going to go with triple heals in the beginning. Teddy Jax on the Reinhardt, and Valefor on the tank. It's going to be a 3-3 comp, 3 tanks, 3 healers. And looks like Titans are coming out with a little bit different. Have 2 DPS with the Tracer and the Junkrat on the team.
Titans is certainly a lot more classic Overwatch here, and right now we're seeing a clash up here at the top of the map. Both teams trying to find an opportunity to get the kill. You see Hanzuki moving around over onto the side to try and find an opportunity, and Hot Pocket is going to get the first kill, taking out Helix the Cat. That is a lot of heals missing, and that Immortality field will no longer be available. Lots of healing is still coming through on Titans, and they're able to push Void back into that corner a little bit and start moving towards the point, and they will be taking that now. Valefor wants to go in, and there is a sound barrier to give that team a little bit of extra oof as they try to get in, but as Valefor and Abstract have both fallen, that is just opening up Void for Titans to move in, and a hammer down from Isaiah to make sure Helix the Cat cannot get away and falls to the hammer.
Great job there out of Titans to take that point. You see Hot Pocket doing a super well job on the Junkrat. His new changes, creating his grenades, have a little bit quicker fly speed, a little less bounce. So he's less of a spam character, actually more of an aimer now. So if Hot Pocket can get that Junkrat aim down, he can do a lot of damage with those.
Hanzuki is moving all the way around to the back. They're going to be looking for an opportunity, and there is the Riptire Willoughby coming for a comes from the top and takes out Abstract. And since Helix Cat is down, that means that there are no healers for Titans. They have to be careful if they want to move forward here, and they're trying to move back. But with Teddy Jackson and Valefor down, they will not be able to. Getting picked off one by one. Sozin taking a lot of damage and knocked out of the back by Hanzuki, and now Hot Pockets is there to give a little bit of help. And there goes Sozin over the side.
Titans coming out with a super dominant showing right here. You see Isaiah just taking up a ton of space, and Hot Pocket doing a great job on Junkrat, sitting high ground, spamming the choke, and just getting these quick kills in the beginning of the matches, which enables the 5v6 for Titans, and then just take advantage.
So right now, Titans, they have a pretty tough haul ahead of them. They have to break this composition they're going up against. The hammer down is going to be back up very, very soon. There it is. They also have to deal with this Graviton Surge, and how are they going to do it? Teddy Jackson wants to move up forward to that corner. Valefor is there trying to get a little bit, and there's the Graviton Surge catching several times, but the Transcendence is there to keep everybody alive, and the hammer down goes straight into the shield, and so Titan stays alive, and a great nuke from Sozin takes out 3. This opens up the point for Titans, and now the rest of Void, they have to just fall back and accept their fate, except of course for Hanzuki, who manages to zip away.
I think you're actually getting the teams a little mixed up there. I believe blue is Titans and red is Void.
That's right.
So Void actually has control of the team right now. There are good setup on the thing, and with their comp, their 3-3 comp is going to be super hard to take this point for the Titans. Junkrat needs to get back set up on high ground, but it's hard to do because he's got that really small angle now coming from the left, shooting on the point.
It's just that I'm so used to Titans not being the one taking the point. So it is time for them to start moving forward. Void, they have burned that Riptire, and it's coming around the back. Is it going to find anybody? No, it is taken out by Valor 4. Now it's time for a little bit of fighting on the point. Isaiah is going to be one of the first to fall. Sosen is out of the mech though, and it's just a real scrap right here around the point. Hot Pockets has to retreat. Using the concussion mine is now sitting up onto the high ground, but Void has not been able to move, or rather Titans has not been able to move onto the point.
Yeah, that was a great job you see on Void's end, holding them off. The ult economy is very similar. It looks like Helix the Cat right now is the only one with his ult up. Reinhardt and D.Va are going to have their ults up as well. But the one you really need to keep an eye out for, I think, is Junkrat right now. This is going to be the big game-changing ult step in the win condition on the side of Titans. So they may gotta keep him alive, get his ult charged up, and you win this game for them.
Void is now set up on the point, and now Titans has to break through this barrier. They're trying to find an opportunity to move forward, and Hanzuki has been taken down. That is a lot of DPS missing, since they will not have that pulse bomb available in the next fight. It isn't really up anyway, but it might have been able to get up by the time the fight was over. Oceans are just kind of exchanging damage, but as we tick over 90%, they're going to have to do something, and Titans start moving forward. Isaiah is in the front lines trying to get forward, and there is the Nano Boost, ready to do some extra damage, and the sound barrier is out though from Void to keep them alive. The hammer down has gone through and caught two, but it was not enough, and a return from Teddy Jackson is going to catch Donnie. But is it enough to turn around? Isaiah has fallen, may take it down. Void has been caught by the Graviton Surge, but it is not enough for Titans to take him out with a Riptire. It was destroyed by Teddy Jackson's Fire Strike, and a return Graviton Surge is going to catch some people on the side of Titans. House of Homie is incredibly low, gets taken out. Overtime ticks down.
Wow, what a play by Teddy Jackson, destroying that Riptire with his Fire Strike. As a Reinhardt, that was huge. There was 3 or 4 caught in that side that grab. That tire was heading right to it. It was a foot away. Huge play out of Teddy. Just saved the match for his team. Without Teddy Jackson's Fire Strike, that would have been game over game for Titans. But Void coming out with on top. Great job, Teddy.
And now we move on to our next point. And this is a pretty difficult one to take, especially because whoever has this point, they're sitting up on that high ground. And there is a lot of open air and ways to get onto the point. That is why we oftentimes do see the Pharah, and we are going to be seeing that from Hanzuki.
Yeah, Hanzuki on the Pharah. Looks like Hot Pocket is going to be switching off the Junkrat, going over to a Hanzo. Still a lot of spam damage, though, with this Hanzo Pharah. They can keep their distance, which is really hard for this enemy comp, the Void Goats comp, to deal with. They really have no way of closing a gap really quickly. So if Titans can play this right, they should be able to beat Void pretty easily and force them to switch off this Goats comp.
Titans is trying to find an opportunity. Pika tried to get it in there with the Lucio to boop Isaiah into the enemy team and did take out Hot Pockets in the process, but a return kill onto Helix the Cat could be exactly what Titans need to push forward and take this point, which has just now been swapped over to Void. Isaiah trying to find an opportunity, trying to keep that shield up, but it has been destroyed. Teddy Jackson trying to get a little bit of hits onto Hanzuki, does manage to get to the health pack and get healed back up. Teddy Jackson back onto the point, trying to swing away and find some opportunity, but is taken out by Quaking Punch. Now this is looking pretty good for Titans as they start getting domination of the point and start pushing Void off. Isaiah keeping that shield up, and a lot of damage is going into it by Valley 4. It has been destroyed, and so Void wants to use that opportunity to push forward. Sosen is knocked out of the mech though, and now caught is out of a Graviton Surge. The Rockets are moving towards him, and they are taken out. It's just Abstract left, who gets taken out as well.
Textbook combo right there on the side of Titans with the Zarya grab and then the Pharah barrage coming in afterwards. Nothing the Reinhardt shield can really do about that. Void right now needs to be a little more aggressive with their comp. They need to be going after teams. They're a brawling style team, so the 6 of them can just stick together, use their Lucio to speed onto immobile targets. They can win this fight. However, Hanzuki with the Pharah is causing them a lot of trouble. They really have nothing to be able to do with that right now.
Now Void, they're going along the side, but Abstract gets cut out by Tawny Style. That speed boost missing and quite a bit of heals. So will they be able to deal with this? Oh, Isaiah gets booped over the edge while trying to get a hammer down. Because of that, will not be able to get anything onto the everything. Is back up onto the point though and ready to provide that shield. Teddy Jackson is trying to get there. There are the dragons, and it takes out Teddy Jackson. That opens up Titans to be able to push forward, and now they are just swiping through the rest of the team to secure the point yet again.
Yeah, Diva was shot at that fight trying to chase down Hanzuki with the Pharah with no avail. Unfortunately, Hanzuki actually was able to win the 1v1 duel. So with Diva out of the fight, no defense matrix, nothing sucking up incoming damage from the enemy team. It was a quick fight.
And now looks like Void is using the same strategy, going up onto the high ground. This time they're going to be protecting their players a little bit better, staying behind that shield. Now Teddy Jackson trying to move forward onto the point, and it's time for another brawl. Isaiah is keeping that shield up to try and make sure the team stays alive. Tony Style keeping it along the outside, trying to find an opportunity, and a rocket barrage from the outside is countered by a sound barrier and Transcendence. Now the side of Titans is caught inside of the Graviton Surge, and there is the nuke. Will it catch anybody? It does catch Tawny Style. The House Homie is down as well. Isaiah trying to use the hammer down to turn this fight around. It is now Nano Boosted, putting on a lot of damage. Has taken out Volley 4, but it is taken out by Teddy Jackson's charge. It is just Waking Punch on the point left. Teddy Jackson ended up almost falling, but it was not enough.
Yeah, that was a great fight on the side of Teddy Jacks. Great job dealing with the Nano Boosted Rhine, pinning him to the side, getting him out of the fight really quickly so he can do more damage to his team. But it looks like Titans are going to have really big ults coming up with the Hanzo, Zarya ults, and Void has no defensive ults to deal with it, so we'll see what happens.
And now Titans is back and ready to try and take the point again. Starting it off with the Graviton Surge, catching 3, and the Dragons go straight into it, taking out 3 members of Void. Will they be able to turn this around? It doesn't look like it. There's the Rocket Barrage to counter Teddy Jackson's hammer down. And because of that, that is a team wipe. 99% on the point, and overtime ticks down.
It's super impressive play there out of Titans. Really impressive, actually, their entire play this whole match. Even though they lost the first game, it looks like they could have been just a second away from winning it. And then this fight, I felt like they won pretty comfortably. It was pretty easy to call there at the end who was going to win this match or this game. So we'll see if this third game, if Void maybe switches off this 3-3 comp, try to deal with this far a little bit. It's really giving them a lot of trouble. He's doing a lot of just quick poke damage at the beginning of fights, and then his teammates are finishing off the kills, enabling a 5v6 or even a 4v6, which are just easy fights for Titans.
Before we get too far into the analysis of what is happening this one, I want to thank Shaggy Blakers for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. And now looks like we're going to be getting into it. Abstract tried to troll us a little bit by playing the Torbjorn, but is not going to be sticking to it. And other side is staying pretty simple, running that classic Orisa Roadhog combo, which is so popular on this map.
Yeah, you got that huge pit on the side of the map. You can just dump everyone into with those 2 tanks. And Lucio, a lot of fun to play those blue characters here.
Abstract almost fell into the pit, was able to use the dash to get back to safety. Hanzuki is trying to pump out the damage, but the first one to fall is going to be Helix the Cat. And so now that is main heals missing for Void, and now Titans, they have the advantage, and they're starting to push forward. But it's going to be Void that gets onto the point first. But with Pika down, that means no healers for the side of Void. Titans starts moving forward. They are now contesting the point and is ready to start moving into the tunnels to take out the rest of Void. A hook almost takes Valley 4 over the edge, but they do survive. Now it's Helix the Cat trying to keep the team alive with the Baptiste. Use that regenerative shield, that first AoE healing to try and keep them alive, but will it be enough? House of Homie is ready to move up. There is Nano Boosted onto the Hog, able to put out the damage. A Hulk comes in and catches 3 members of Void, and Flashbang did come through, but it was not enough to take him out. The lamp is out and keeps the team alive for a little while. House of Homie manages to stay alive through the Hulk and take the point.
It doesn't that House Home is going over the edge there. Good job on the side Titans. They're taking control of that point, getting the quick kills on the healers, which really just led Void in no man's land. All they could do is survive as long as possible. Wait, try to get a tick for Titans inevitably.
The amplification matrix did come out, but Titans managed to get out of the way. But will they be able to survive? Abstract, Dragon Blade, it does not look like it. 3 of them have fallen, and House of Homie shortly afterwards, and Void retakes the point.
Hot Pocket's gonna have to really deal with Abstract on the Genji. He's doing a lot of work for their team. He's getting really quick kills at the beginning of fights, able to get in, get out without dying, which is what you want a Genji to be able to do. So Abstract doing a very good job on Genji right here. Titans are gonna have to deal with him a little bit harder, either with House of Homie or Hot Pocket. But get him some CC and get him out of this fight.
Titans wants to keep those long sight lines, so they're going to be sticking over to there, but a great Helix rocket from Sosin is going to be taking on Hot Pocket. That is a lot of DPS missing now from Titans. Will they be able to still push on to the point? We'll see. Looks like they're still pretty cautious. They don't want to get ahead of themselves. They're just going to be waiting for their DPS to get back. They have the time, and now going all the way around the backside. Hanzuki is the first one to get spotted and is ready to put out the damage. A pretty big hold catches several members of Void, but they stay alive for now. And Hanzuki used the rocket barrage. Nanobushimo was hooked out of it. Will they be able to put out enough damage? Doesn't look like it does fall. Hot Pockets did use the high from behind to take on Abstract. Sosin has used the tactical visor though and try to put out a little bit of extra damage without being able to miss. Does get taken out by Hot Pockets, but the rest of Titans has to back up. They've taken too many casualties and they have to leave.
Yeah, big plays off there by Baleful. Just a big target with that hog. Yeah, his use of his hooks, hitting a lot of hooks, getting a lot of the squishy targets with it, and then using his E to stay on point and that huge damage reduction, taking up a lot of the enemy shots.
Hot Pockets has swapped over to the Wrecking Ball to get onto the point and sustain it for as long as possible, and a great grapple knock is going to get two people off of the map, and a third kill to follow it up, and a fourth absolutely on fire, going to allow the team to retake the point in just the nick of time.
Super impressive play out there by Hot Pocket. Interesting switch with the Hammond, but able to come in quickly and destroy Helix the Cats and Infinity Fields or Immortality Fields, which enabled the rest of the team, obviously, to get the quick kills. And Hanzuki, now on the Reaper, able to get pretty close and do a lot of damage and self-heal with that new Reaper up.
There are the mines. Going to be causing a bit of trouble for Void as Sosin gets taken out by them. Knocked straight into one of those little death balls. And because of that, Titans, they want to move in. They want to find this opportunity. Hanzuki is moving in, but gets flashbanged and taken out. Could not. The life steal was not enough for that. And now they're starting to move forward. Valley4 gets halted over the edge, though, by Isaiah. No main tank for Void. Will this be enough? The Bongos have come out to get a little bit of extra damage, as well as the coalescence for the application matrix is there, but it is not enough. Managing to turn that around and taking out the rest of the team is just Sosin and Abstract left. It was Sosin down. Now it's just Abstract who's getting chased down by House of Homie. Will they be able to survive? They managed to get to the health pack, but now we're sitting at 93%. Hika is in the back, ready to contest it. Will be getting on there, trying to get a boof off, but does not catch anybody. Isaiah, though, did fall over the edge. The fortify was not enough. Mind Taps about to try and keep Titans, or try to keep Void off of the point. But so far they're able to maneuver around it, but there it is, starting to turn this around. Titans, they want to get this first map, and it looks like they might just be able to do it. There's a nuke to try and clear the point. It's just Abstract left, who manages to get on there and get a flashbang kill, but it is not enough. Titans take the first map.
Wow, great job, Titans. Giving Void a little taste of their own medicine at the end, pulling out the triple tank. And because that Void, all they had was the McCree and the Soldier to sort of deal with the Pharah from last round, I think, they just didn't have enough damage to take out all three of those tanks, which is Orisa, D.Va, as you see, Hammond, just a lot of health right there, a lot of armor. Really hard to take out those tanks without a ton of damage on your team. So great job by Titans, good switches, definitely deserved that win.
Hammond is the biggest carry. Convince me otherwise. Absolutely huge plays from Hot Pockets there to turn the point around. Absolutely wonderful. And great plays from both teams. It was a close, ended up being 2-1. Titans just managing to turn this around.
And Elaine on asking if House of Homie just committed suicide. I saw that last little turn of events there at the end of the map, and it was a little odd. It seemed like Abstract sort of committed suicide to join the rest of his team, though he did so at 94%, so there's no way that he would have responded in time. He should have tried to stay alive. And then House of Homie, I guess, after he saw the suicide,